Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. I'm hoping you guys are all having a fantastic day. So today's upload is a little bit late. It's at 7, right now I'm recording at 7:17, and you know, the day went by fairly quickly. We got that 1 hour of less sleep, and we got, moved this times 1 hour forward, and it was definitely hard to get used to, especially with the time. The day seemed to go by really fast, so I'm recording this video a little bit late. I apologize about that, but if you'd like to support this channel, you can do so by subscribing. You could leave a nice comment. You could like the video if you want to support my channel. I know, if you know, my channel recently got demonetized, so any support I can get would be welcome. So today we're going to be talking about the winter storm, actually. I know it's March, and we're talking about winter storm, and, that's obviously not uncommon for March, but the point is, it's getting a little bit tiresome for many, especially for the areas that have been either struck by the heavy rain, the tornadoes, or the areas that have been absolutely deluged. I shouldn't say deluged, but absolutely crippled by the heavy snow. This system, you can see, is going to be very strong. So let's just dive right into this. Right now we're looking at this system, Winter Storm Taylor, moving out of the country, dropping still a little bit of snow here and there across the northeast, some wraparound snow showers across Michigan. But then we quickly get into a colder pattern. You can see very strong winds will be with this system behind it. 540 winds, or 540 millibar line down to central Illinois. So not awfully too far to the south, but still, fairly unwelcome in the most areas. Most people want spring at this point, and we see that by Monday passes through. By Tuesday, we already see a big system starting to arrive. And at the beginning, it doesn't seem like anything. You can see that it's mixing in with a disturbance, not even really a strong storm from the Pacific Ocean, and what's left behind, kind of the left behind precip by Winter Storm Taylor, and these two congeal or combine, and we see the temperatures soar into the 60s and 70s across the Midwest, and we see this 540 line way up here. Look at that. James Bay, where the polar bears live, could be potentially above 32 degrees, and that's what the power of the system has. And severe weather down to the south, definitely not out of the question. And notice how already by Wednesday, some of the areas of Midwest could be seeing some light rain. And then we see the bigger chunk of this system coming in through here. Lots of snow for those areas that will see it, potentially Nebraska, South Dakota, Colorado, and definitely quite a bit of snow. While the south could be seeing severe weather with another batch of heavy rain. And after this system, we see quite a bit of cold air come by, and this may actually stick around for 1 to 2, even possibly 3 weeks in some shape or form. You can see at this point, it may seem like if it's over the 540 lines up here in Minnesota, Wisconsin, the 546, which is above the freezing line, above the 32-degree mark, is already approaching into Minnesota. But then we come back into a chillier pattern. You can see it dives back into the there could be see another little clipper system coming in, and 540 is back down here, and then maybe potentially warming up again. So definitely a roller coaster ride of temperatures, especially with this big system. Let's go to thermodynamics, and let's check out the actual temperatures. And you can see that after this Winter Storm Taylor passed through, we saw quite a bit of cool air, below freezing for sure. And it wasn't necessarily, frigid, bitter, but definitely cooler. We see a that was R0. We see behind, okay, there we go, cooler air, frigid maybe possibly for the, Minnesota, North Dakota area. However, for these areas in the south, or for the areas in the Midwest and the Northeast, in the plains, it's not going to be too bad. We see temperatures barely below freezing, so they quickly get pushed up by this next system. You could see bringing in, already pushing this 32-degree line back way over there, scattering it, and we start seeing a major influx of air. This is already Thursday. This is around Wednesday midnight. Cools down a little bit during the night, not much, and then look at that. Thursday during the day, we could be looking at a very significant warm-up. 61 here in southern Wisconsin, 69 here in Indiana, 70s and 80s across the south with some severe weather, definitely a possibility. And then look at that, Illinois, Chicago potentially in the 60s, Michigan maybe into the 70s as well. Then, though, however, it doesn't last for too long. Look at that. We see a very, very, very cold air mass come through, at least for March. We see the temperatures in the 20s, in the 30s, and even in the single digits. For especially if you go further north, you could see 5, 8, 5. And this is around Saturday, March 16, 2009. And so that's next weekend, and then that sticks around for quite a while. During the day, you could see it maybe warms up to 40, 43, but during the nights, it's still frosts fairly frequent, and then we could start breaking the pattern, 50s, 40s. But look at that, guys. Look at this. Very, very, very cold potentially right there. That I don't think that's gonna make its way down into here, but that could tamper with our warm temperatures for quite a while. You could see bringing 25, 20s, and this is almost April, so very chilly conditions. And I mean, yes, the GFS may have a bias towards cold, but I remember seeing this last year, and it was a very similar thing where the temperatures did not want to go up, and we had a very, very long spring, a very long winter. I don't think that will happen this year. Hopefully not, because I'm kind of looking forward to spring at this point. In terms of snowfall, we see a bullseye right here in Nebraska, and western Nebraska, Colorado, Wyoming, those three corners where they meet, and we see a little bit more snow for Minnesota, North Dakota, and South Dakota, just not as much as for the the Nebraska area. If we go to the other models, the FE3 GFS, we see a little bit bigger bullseye. This is a second storm right here, not the first one, which I don't know if it will happen exactly, because some models aren't agreeing on that. So you could see this is what the FE3 GFS is showing, a little bit more widespread with the heavier snowfall, but more narrow in terms of the heavier snowfall. So more narrow, but more heavier. The Canadian model is more widespread and lighter, so there's some differences, but in general, that area seems to be fairly, fairly favored by the models to see that heavy snow. In terms of rainfall, let's go to MSLP and precip frozen. Oh no, sorry. Let's go to total accumulated precip. We could see quite a bit of rain out of this system, and obviously I already showed you the snowfall totals. So this would, in those areas that would be the snow would fall, it's basically if that snow melted, what would that accumulate to? And this is what it would happen. You can see very great amounts here in the south, potentially with the severe weather. We go to the GFS, not nearly as much, but still showing an abundance of rain, and the FE3 GFS showing a similar something to the GFS. But we could be watching this for quite a bit of rain. You could see the Florida, the south could be getting quite a bit, so we'll have to monitor that. In terms of what watches, warnings, advisories, not much. The National Weather Service has posted a special weather statement for Nebraska area, and you can see best chance for heavy snow right across Nebraska, and that could definitely lead to some flooding. Not flooding, sorry, what I'm talking about. This could definitely lead to some heavy snow. I was looking at that and I said flooding. Okay, so it looks like if it does not really want to load, so we'll just have to wrap it off here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for becoming my Patreon if you have decided to. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. See ya. Bye.